So when you click on the PyCharm ID, this type of the window will appear. You just have to click on this create new project. Okay, so when you click on the create new project, it will ask for the location. Okay, so where you want to store that your project. Okay, so here you are not creating a Python file, you are creating a project, and in that project actually there are the lots of Python files are there. Okay, so what is project? Projects are the collection of the all the Python files. Okay, so I'm typing the location here. The location is /user /ganesh /pycharm projects, and whatever my project's name. Okay, so my project name is suppose this is I think 8th day, so 8th day. Okay, so this is my project name. And now which virtual environment I want to use? Virtual environment, so this use the new virtual environment. And what type of the interpreter you want. Okay, so if you have installed the latest Python version, then you have to select your Python 3.9. Okay, so in my computer actually Python 2.7 is also there, 3.6, 3.8. These are the versions I have installed. So out of that I'm selecting the 3.8 and just have to click on the create button. Okay, so when you click on the create button, it create the virtual environment. So first let me explain you what is virtual environment. So virtual environment is the one setup for a project, every project. Okay, suppose one project require the different libraries to be installed, and that library, if you are installing that libraries into your computer, it should not be affect to the other existing projects. So that's why for every project we must have to create its virtual environment. Okay, so whatever the libraries and whatever the different ready-made function you are installing, whatever the tools you are installing for that project, it will only up to that project. It will not install, it will not affect the existing projects. Okay, or the project that you are creating in the future. Okay, so it is only up to that project. So that's why I always use the virtual environment for every project. But it might be you are thinking that this might be one of the drawback, because if you have installed suppose one of the library and the size of that library is suppose 500 MB, and if you are creating the new project, you have to download that library once again. Okay, so for every time you have to download that library. But it is better for the project point of view, but it is not better for the learning point of view. Okay, so but this PyCharm is mostly used in the companies, and it is a requirement that for every project there is a separate requirement is there. For that's why they are creating the virtual environment for each and every project. Okay, so here I have created my project. The name of the project is 8th day. Okay, so here now I want to create a Python file. So if I want to create a Python file, then just click on that project or this folder v and v, and just uh, click on right click on the on it, click on the new, and this is the Python file. Just click on the Python file. So when you click on the Python file, it will ask for the name of that Python file that you want to create. Okay, so I'm creating here the Python file called as a fun example dot. Okay, no need to give the Python extension. If you are giving the Python extension, it is also okay, but better to not give the Python extension. The Python extension will be automatically taken, but if you are giving the Python extension, then also it is not it will take that .py as a Python file only. Okay, so not mandatory that you should give the .py extension. Okay, so I'm not giving your .py extension. So you can see here the fun example.py file is created, and it is created in the fun library. Okay, so it is created in the fun example.py file. Okay, now first check that my program or my virtual environment is perfectly running or not. Okay, so let's do a hello world program first. Okay, always check the IDE first, is it okay or not. Okay, if just print the hello world here. Now I want to move this. Okay, okay, So here I want to run this. So how to run this? Just right click on this for example.py and here run fun example. So when you click on the run fun example, then the whatever you have written, it should be executed. So it is executed and it is printed the hello world. So it means that my interpreter is working fine. It is very working fine. Okay. So now I want to do my program. Okay, so let's revise the function. Okay, so what is a function? The function is a block of the statement which is written outside the main program, and whenever you need to execute that statement, you just call it. Okay, so what is the use of that function? Okay, so once you return that suppose the block of the statement to the function, you need not to be write that statement again and again. Whenever you want to execute that particular statement, you just have to call the function. So the code reusability, this we can achieve by using the function. So here I'm writing the function called as a display. Okay, so it's received the one argument name. Okay, and it just print it's the name. Okay, or you can have the your name is. Okay, your name is and this one. Okay, now I want to call this function. So if I want to call the function, just call it by using the name and just pass the argument. Okay, so if the function require the one argument, if the function require the one argument to execute, you should pass it. If you are not passing that argument, you are getting the error. Okay, so what is the error? Missing one required positional argument. Now what is positional argument? Okay, we already have done that. So what is positional argument? So this is the positional argument. We must have to give the arguments here. So here I'm giving the name as suppose Ganesh. So display Ganesh. So what this Ganesh get referenced by the name, and now it will should print your name is Ganesh. Okay, so here I'm again running it. So it will give the output as a your name is Ganesh. Yeah, so it is very now easy to call the function. Now next one is now this is called the positional argument. Positional argument is, for example, this one is positional argument, and I'm passing here the second argument as my surname. Okay, and here I'm printing here the second printf line, uh, and your surname is. Okay, and your surname is comma surname. Okay, and I'm calling this. When I call this, when I run this program, it will show the output as your name is Ganesh and your surname is Attade. Okay, so this calls a positional argument. Positional argument means the first argument, whatever the first argument is passed to this first argument. Okay, whatever the data is second argument is passed to the second argument. Okay, so position wise it is get passed here, but the second argument type we have seen as a keyword argument. So in a keyword argument, we can give here name is equal to Ganesh and here surname is equal to Attade. Okay, so here we can directly use here the name of that argument and we can directly pass it. So when you are using this technique, the position doesn't matter. Position doesn't matter. You can directly pass the data to that argument directly by using its name. So here the sequence doesn't matter that you are passing to that particular function. So here surname I'm passing as a first and the name I'm passing as a second. So position doesn't matter here. So when I call this function again, when I run this program, it shows the same output. So name gets stored, Ganesh gets stored in name, surname gets Attade gets stored in surname. Okay, got it. This is the second type of the program. First, positional argument we have seen. Second is a keyword argument we have seen. The third is called as a default argument. In a default argument, here you can give the default the default data. So if this particular argument is not passed, then whatever the data that is given here, that is get stored, that is get referenced by this surname here. And if it is passed, then the new data get referenced by the surname here. So if I am running this program again, then the output is very same, because here I have passed the surname. But suppose in the second call, if I'm not passing it, then when I run this program, then you're having the output as your name is Ganesh and your surname is not given, because the surname argument you are not passing. This is called as a default argument passing. So getting it, default argument passing. Okay. So and one more thing, we have seen a advanced operation called as a map operation. So can anyone recall it? What is a map operation? Yeah, what is map operation? The last operation we have seen in a Python, there is map operation. So map operation applies a function to each element in the sequence like list, tuple, etc., and return a new sequence containing a result. Okay, so applies that function to all elements of the list. For example, you need to calculate the cube of a number. Okay, so you are writing a function called as a definition cube, and you are returning n 3 2 star 3. Okay, so you're returning a cube of that particular n number. Suppose, and there is one list. Okay, there is one list which is having this number. For example, some numbers are given. Okay, some numbers are given and you need to calculate the cube of all these numbers. Okay, so how to apply it? Very simple. So firstly, I'm applying it by using the map function. So with what function I want to apply? Cube. Okay, so cube function I want to apply. The second one is on which list I want to apply it. List one. Okay, on which list? On list one I want to apply this cube function. Okay, and if I want to print this list one, then I just have to first convert that list two into the list, and then because the map function doesn't return a list, it returns the object. An object of that number. So this object has to be converted into one of our data type. Okay, so the data type is the list. So I'm applying this conversion operation. So list 2 get converted into the list and it get printed here. So here I'm running this example and you can see here the output is 864 216 343 512 and 729, which is the cube of all these numbers. Okay, written here. Yes, getting this? So this type of the actually operation you can perform when you want to apply the same function on a given list. Yes. Now the next function is the filter function or the filter operation. It is not function, it is operation. Filter operation. FILTER. Okay, filter operation. How to apply the filter operation? Okay, so suppose I want to find out the even number. I want to separate, I want to filter the even number from a given list. Okay, so the list is given as, for example, the list is given as list 1 is equal to suppose some random numbers I'm giving here. Okay, which is having some even numbers as well as the odd numbers. Okay, just I am okay, so here 1 Okay, some repeated numbers, just I am replacing with the non-repeating one. Okay. Okay, so these are some random numbers. Okay, I want to separate all the even numbers from this list only. Okay, so filter operation I want to perform. So here, to apply the filter operation, first we need to write down the definition or the function for it. So what is my definition? So suppose I'm giving my function definition name as a check even. Okay, check even is my function name, which take the arguments called as a n. Okay, and then we'll check that it is even or odd. Okay, so how to check it is even or odd? If n modulo 2 equal to 0. Okay, if n modulo 2 equal to 0, then it return the true. Okay, else it return the false. Very simple. Okay, so you just have to define one function which is returning a true or false. Okay, and now I'm applying the filter operation. So filter operation is the even list. Okay, even list, and I'm applying the filter operation as a filter. What is the function name? The function name is a check even function. Check even function, and then on which list I want to apply this. On list one I want to apply this. Okay, now to print the even list, even numbers is equal to, okay, so just I need to convert that object into the list. So even list, and that's it. Okay, so got it, this operation. So here that whatever the list is there, that I want to filter the all the even numbers. So I'm writing one definition, check even definition, and that definition will return a true if the number is even, and return a false if number is odd. Okay, so depending on that true or false, the number get filtered out and all the even numbers get stored into the even list. So, and that even list I'm printing by converting into the list itself. So just I'm saving it and run this example. You can see here the only the even numbers get printed out. 8, 6, 8, 26 and 8. These are the only even numbers present into that list. Okay, so I can again filter the odd numbers also. So I'm writing the check odd function. Check odd function. The same code I'm writing here. The same code I'm writing, just I'm replacing here. If num modulo 2 equal to 1. Okay, so odd numbers, you know that if you are dividing that number by 2 and if the remainder is 1, then that number is an odd number. Okay, so here I'm again the odd list. Odd list is equal to, again I am applying the filter operation with the function check odd. Okay, and here I'm printing that odd numbers. Odd numbers is equal to comma list of odd list. Okay, list of odd list. Okay, so got it. So here I am applying the two filters here. Okay, separating out all even numbers and the odd numbers. So you can see here the output, the even numbers is 6, 8, 26, 8, and the odd numbers is 3, 5, 7, 65. Okay, so these are the odd number that we have separated out. So you can write a function having some condition, and if that condition is satisfied, then it return a true, otherwise it return a false. If this kind of the function is available, then you can apply the filter operation there. Okay, suppose there is a list is given and you want to check, you want to filter out the numbers which is fully divisible by 5. Okay, so you can easily separate out, or even you can write a function which will return a true if the number is a prime number or not. Okay, and using that function you can filter all the prime numbers from the given list. Only the prime numbers will get separated from that particular list. Okay, so getting that. So getting this filter operation. So how many of you are getting this filter operation? Yes. Yes, got it. Okay. So the next operation we'll see as a reduce operation. Reduce operation. Okay, so I'm creating the new file. I'm creating the new file, the new Python file, and reduce operation.py. Okay, so you giving the py is not mandatory. If you are giving, it is also okay. Okay, so let's see the example of a reduce operation. Okay, the reduce operation is somewhat different from the map and the filter. The map operation is applies the supply the all the elements present into the list as an argument to a function. Okay, so separately that number of function call will be there. So in a reduce operation also the function call be there, but here somewhat different operation to be performed. Okay, so what is the different operation, we'll see with the example. Okay, so here I'm writing one definition. Okay, so the definition is suppose summation. Okay, or addition. Okay, addition is my function name, which will take the two numbers x and y, and which returns the summation or the addition of the two numbers. Okay, so very simple, addition of the two numbers. Now how to call this function? Very simple. If I want to call the addition function, you just have to provide the two arguments. Okay, you just have to provide the two argument, and if you are printing this addition 1 comma 2, then it will print the 3. Okay, it will print the 3. So very common answer. So it add the two numbers. But suppose I want to do addition of 6 numbers. Okay, I want to do addition of 6 numbers. So how to do addition? For example, 6 numbers are 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. These are the 6 numbers. Okay, so what is the your suggestion where I should apply this, or where I should modify this code? How to modify this code? If I want to provide the 6 argument to my function, here you should better to use the variable argument. Okay, but variable argument uses is not so much good. Okay, because you don't know what amount of or what count of the argument that is get received by the your function. Okay, and its coding complexity is somewhat complex. Okay, so better to use the reduce function. So what the reduce function is doing, when you want to perform this kind of the operation, and if your function is taking only two arguments, then what is doing, when you apply the reduce operation to addition function with the list, given list contains the 1 2 3 4 5 6, what is doing, it first do the addition of two number 1 plus 2, and that result of this two number addition get added with the third number. The result of this addition get added with the next number. The result of this addition get added with the next number. So it means that the first argument is referred as a result of the previous function call. Getting this? So you can say it is a cumulative addition. So if you want to do a cumulative addition, then you can use this reduce function. Okay, same for the cumulative addition, you can do the cumulative multiplication also. If the first result of the first multiplication, if you want to multiply with the next digit, then, and if you after multiplication again you want to perform the multiplication operation with the next digit, so then also you can do the reduce operation. So when you want the cumulative type of the operation, then you can use the reduce function there. Now how to use the reduce function, we'll see here. First we need to define the list. So the list is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 9. Okay, so this is my list which contains some numbers, and now my result is equal to, I'm performing the reduce operation. I'm performing the reduce operation here. Okay, I performing the reduce operation, and the reduce operation gives the first argument as the addition. That is my function name. So which function name you want to, which function you want to apply, and the next one is the name of the list. Okay, so list one. Okay, now this reduce operation is not directly available here, so here you need to import it. So here directly click on this import function tools dot reduce. Automatically the this line get added here. So this is the actually beauty of the IDE. No need to give the suggestion. If the reduce is not there, it gives the suggestion that reduce is present in function tools. Okay, so just import it. So I don't this line can be directly added here. So from function tools import reduce. So reduce operation I can directly use here. Okay, now just I'm printing the result here. So result can be printed as list of, not list of, because it is a single result, because the result is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. So result of all this number, it returns the integer value, so it directly give the your output as a res. Okay, so I am trying to run this program. So the output is 45. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, if you do the addition of that numbers, you will get an output as a 45, and it gives the correct output 45. Okay, so getting this, so can I do the operation product your multiply operation, definition multiply. Okay, definition multiply, and suppose a comma b, and what is the return a into b, very simple, a into b. And now I want to apply this on this list. Okay, so the list is 1 2 3 4 5, and now applying this multiply operation on list 1. Okay, so the output should be 1 into 2 2, 2 into 3 6, 6 into 4, it is 24, and 24 into 5, that is 120. So it is a factorial of 5. Okay, so factorial of 5. So if I run this program, so we will get a output 120. Yes, getting this? So how many of you are getting this point? Reduce operation. Yes, getting, yeah. So reduce operation performs a rolling computation to rolling computation to sequential pairs of values in a sequence, and it returns a result. Okay, so when you want this type of the operation, actually use this one of the operation. Okay, so these are very important operation, and these are the operation that is mostly asked in for the in a Python interview for the freshers. Okay, so everyone getting this map operation, filter operation, and the reduce operation. So if you have any doubt, just let me know. Instead of that multiply operation, multiply function, you can directly give here the lambda function also. So just like suppose lambda a comma b colon a into b. Okay. So here no need to give here the multiply operation, also definition operation also I am commenting, and directly you can give, if the very small code is there, no need to write down the definition, you can directly use the lambda function here. Okay, so lambda a comma b colon a into b. Okay, so when you run this code again, when you run this code, you will get a save output as a 120. Yeah, you are getting, it is getting the output as a 120. Okay, so if you are adding a number, the output is now 720, so it is a factorial of 6. Okay, so now doubt, so can I start the new topic? Okay, so the next topic is we'll directly start with the object oriented programming, class and the object. Okay, so in the first program, in the first session, we have seen that the Python supports the functional programming also, and the Python support the object oriented programming also. So the actually all the program that we have done earlier, that is all the kind of the function programming. So here we are writing, we can write the function directly and we can call that function directly here. Okay, so without writing a class. Okay, that's why you can say that here the Python is not a fully object oriented language, but it supports the object oriented concepts. And what are the object oriented concept it supports? It supports the most of the object oriented concept, but only 2 or 3 due to some actually to reduce the complexity into the object oriented programming, they have not supporting the polymorphism kind of the operation, object oriented operations or the concept. Okay, so first we will list out all the object oriented concept. Okay, so because you already have learned the C++ and the Java, or most of you have learned the C++. Okay, so tell me, what are the different object oriented concepts? Yes, we list out all the object oriented concept. Yeah, any one of you? Yes, anyone know? Ankush, Dinesh, Harshita, Ashwita, Indrajit, Kevin, Kirthana, Manish, Melita, Prasanna, Vinela, Shanand Rao, Kiran. So what are the object oriented concept that you have learned? So what is the first object oriented concept? Tell me. Okay, so in OOP actually the OOP means object oriented, means you are thinking that everything is object. You're thinking that if you want to do any operation, just think that in what way we can think that this operation is treated as an object. And what is an object? Object is having the physical existence. So if you think a object like, for example, your school, okay, so your school is an object, okay. So if the school is the object, then the school is having some parameters and the school is having some functions. So school is performing some function like you can take admission, then you can learn, you can uh, pay the fees, you can refund the fees, you can leave from the college, and there are different operations are there, okay. So that operation is supported by your school. And what are the different parameters that is having your school? That is your school is having some unique ID, the school is having the name, the school is having the address, okay. So these are some parameters that is related to the school, okay. So what is the, so if you want to do anything, just think about that, how I can bind my data and the function together. Related data and the function, if I bind together, then that it means that you are thinking like a OOP. Okay, you are thinking like a OOP, object oriented programming. Okay, so everything, anything that you want to, for example, you want to perform a operation called as addition. Okay, so what is the thinking? Your thinking should be, thinking is not directly writing a definition addition. Okay, so that is a function programming, but in object oriented programming you're thinking like, what are we need for doing a addition? I need a two integers. Okay, so that's why my my object must have the two parameters, or the two my object is having the two parameters, and the my object is having the one function called as addition. So it means that my object can perform a addition operation, and my object can contain the two parameters or the two variables, suppose x and y. Okay, so this, it means that the addition is not a function, the addition is inside the object, so it is a wrapper. To that addition you are designing a wrapper, and if you want to communicate to that addition function, you have to communicate through that wrapper. Okay, so you are hiding that function and the data into one wrapper, and that is called the encapsulation. Okay, so hiding the data and the function into one capsulation, that's called encapsulation. Getting that? So we list out here the different OOP concept. So very first OOP concept is the OOP concepts. So very first OOP concept is the object. Okay, so object is the runtime entity. It is a runtime entity. So when you are performing some operation, then you are performing that operation on a object. Runtime entity, or also called as a, it is having some physical existence, it is present into the memory, that is called as an object. The second one is the class. So what is class? Class is called as a compile time entity. It is called as a compile time entity. Means, or also it is called as a, it is a blueprint of the object. So what is the object, or what the operation that the object can perform, that is defined by the class, that is defined by your class. For example, we will take the random this random example. For example, take an example of the suppose Dinesh, Harshita and Hasvita and the Indrajit. Okay, so Dinesh, Harshita, Hasvita and the Indrajit, these are the object. If I'm thinking that these are the four objects, then what is its class? Its class is the student. Class is student. So these are the student. Dinesh, Harshita, Ashvita, Indrajit, these are the student. Okay, so if you're thinking the example of the suppose objects like suppose pigeon is there, sparrow is there, or crow is there, these are some objects. If you're thinking about what is class, the class is the bird class. So what are the common features that object is having? That is defined by the class. What are the operation that we can perform? That is defined by the class. So it is a blueprint of the object. Okay, or it defines the object. What the operation can object can do, that is defined by the class. So it is a compile time entity. It is don't have the physical existence. It is just a declaration. You just declare the class, but that class is having the existence when you create its object. Getting that? Okay. So the next one is the next OP concept is yeah, anyone of you, can you type the OP concept? Objects and class we have done. The next one is polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism is the way to represent 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 a function in different way. Okay, so polymorph, it poly means many and morph means form. Okay, many form. Suppose if there is a one function is there, and if you want to rewrite that function, same function, and another definition of that function is having the different code, its front end is same, but its implementation is different. So there are 2-3 functions are there having the same name, but the different argument list, different prototype, depending on the arguments that you are passing, that will decide that what function to be called. So that is called the polymorphism. But here the very good one advantage of polymorphism is that no need to remember the different names for the different function. If a function is doing the same task, for example, display function is there, you can write a display function for an integer, you can write a display function for string, you can write a display function for float. Okay, so it means that here the name is display, but what argument you are passing, that will decide that what implementation it is get called here. It's printing the integer get called, or printing the float get called, or printing the string get called here. Okay, so it is only possible if your language is supporting the OOP. The fourth very important point is the inheritance. Okay, inheritance. Yeah, Asvita, very good. Inheritance. So inheritance means it is generally used for reusing the existing code. Okay, reusing the existing code. Suppose if one class is already written, and if you want to implement that class in a modern fashion, for example, if you want to add something into it, if you want to add something new into it, or if you want to delete something from existing class, so then you can inherit that class and you can add the new thing, and you can delete the existing thing also, or you can represent the existing class in a different way. That's called as an inheritance. Okay, so it's called as a reusing the existing class. Okay, so before the polymorphism, actually there is one more concept is there, and that's called as a encapsulation. Okay, encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but the binding the data and functions together. It's called, or it is called as a encapsulation. Okay, also it's called a data hiding. Okay, so it is 4 and it is 5th. Okay, so these are some OOP concept. Actually there are 6 to 7 OOP concept, but right now I'm only taking this 5 OOP concept. because we have to start the today itself what is how to create a class in Python. Okay, so first example we will see, that is how to create a class, okay, or how to create an object. Yeah, data abstraction. Data abstraction is nothing but the uh, your whatever the, suppose you have the lots of data, you have the lots of data. Suppose take an example of a bank. Okay, take an example of bank. Now what type of abstraction you need? Abstraction means the levels. Okay, the levels, what type of abstraction, what data you can access and what data you cannot access, that is called the data abstraction. Okay, so in a data abstraction, actually what you are doing, the your whatever the a class related, whatever the class related data is there, that data you are declaring as a private. And suppose if you want to give the data to the publicly, then you declare that data as a public. Okay, so you are creating the level of the abstraction there. Up to what extent your data is available to the user? Your data is directly being available to the user, or through the class the data is available, or through the object is available, or through the inheritance it is available. Okay, so that has to be done through the data abstraction. So got it, Sharan Rao? Okay, so we have also seen the data abstraction, because how to declare the public member, how to declare the private members, actually we'll see when you see the classes. Okay, so the next one is the how to create an object. Creating an object is very easy. Suppose I is equal to 10. Okay, I is equal to 10. So this is nothing but the creating an object. So I is having the, I is not a variable here, I is an object of type integer. Okay, so we already have seen this. To print the type of that variable, we use the function called the type. So when I run this program, it is called, it is print as a class int. So it means that int class is already available. It is the available into the Python itself. So whenever you declare one object, I is equal to 10, what is the data that defines the type of that data? What is the data? That is, data is integer, so that is defined by your the type of the object. Okay, so this is nothing but your object creation. But here this is the object creation when you are, it is having the inbuilt classes there. But suppose we'll see one example where we create our own class, and we will see the how to create an object of that class. Okay, so to create a class, use the keyword called as a class. Okay, C is small here. In Java, actually C is capital. In Python, C is small, and in C++ also C is small. Okay, so class, and the name of my class is the employee. Okay, so class employee. Okay, so when you define the class employee, now employee class is having some definition, employee class is having some attributes or its data members. So how to define the data members of the class, how to define the data function or the member function of the class. So to define the member function of the class, we will use the def here. Okay, so do not forget to put here tab here. Okay, so class employee def space and whatever my function name. So my function name is suppose set data. Okay, my function name is set data. So you can see here the beauty of your IDE. Directly when you write the function, directly the self is given here. What is self? Actually, set data is a function which is called by the different objects. When you create the object of the employee class, then that object, different object is called the set data function. Now, the class should know that which object is calling this set data function. So what is the self? The self is nothing but the address of the object, address of object. So which object is calling this set data function is decided at the runtime there. Okay. So self is the address of the address of the object itself, address of the object itself. Then the next one is, if you want to give some parameters or arguments, you can give here, for example, the Nyan, that is name, age, and the salary. Okay. Now NAS, these are the local variables of set data function. NAS, these are the three local variables of set data function. Now I want to create the data member of employee class, data member. So how to create data member? Actually in Java and C++, we will first create the data member here, just like for example integer salary, and suppose integer age, like that. Okay, but here in a Python, actually if you want to create the object related operations or the class related operation, you can create in the function itself. If you want to create the data member, you can directly create here itself. So how to create? I want to create the object data member. So use self dot, self dot, and whatever the whatever the data name. Okay, so it means that if I'm creating the object of employee and the object name of the object is E1, so name one data member new field is created into that object, and it is having the name as a n that you pass when you call this data set data function. Getting that? So next one is, I'm creating one age data member, and again I'm creating one salary is equal to s. Yes, and I'm defining one other function called as a display function. Display function, automatically it is taken as a self, and in the self function, in a display function, I am printing its name is equal to name. Now to access the name, I am using self dot name, and here the next one is age equal to comma self dot age comma and name next one is salary equal to comma self dot salary. Okay, so every time if you want to access this name, age, and salary, now this name, age, and salary, it is not related to the class, it is related to the object. Okay, so object name, object age, and object salary you are printing here. So very simple, and you have written your class successfully. Okay, now next you want to create a object of this employee class. So how to create an object? If you want to create an object, very simple, E1 is equal to, now what is the kind of this object? The kind of the object you can define by using this method. So E1 equal to employee. So you're calling the default constructor here. So E1 is equal to employee. A default constructor is called. Actually, we have not written the constructor for it. So it means that default constructor is provided, and the object E1 is created successfully. But here E1 object is created, but it is not having the name, age, and the salary. Okay, even now this E1 object is not having even name, it is not having even age, even not having even salary. It is get created when there you are calling the set data function. You can directly print this E1 dot salary here itself. When you run this program, you can have the attribute here, employee object has no attributes called as a salary. Why? Because you have not called the state data function. Which a salary will be created when you are calling the state data function. Okay, so here before before printing the salary, I am calling the set data function. So set data function I'm calling, and now I want to pass here first name. Okay, so name is suppose Ganesh. The age I am giving as a 36 and the salary I am giving as suppose 50,000. Okay, okay, 50,000. And here now I am printing the salary. I'm printing the salary. Now the salary is successfully printed here. Okay, so got it? Because salary is not related to the class, it is related to the object. And whenever you are creating the object and when you call this function actually, then only the salary or name or the age will be get created. It is the advantage of creating your attributes at runtime. It is not the whatever the attributes of your class, it is not decided at compile time, it is decided at the runtime. Getting it? Yes. How many of you are getting this program? Just type yes if you are getting this, or if you have any doubt, just type that your doubts. I will be solving your doubts here. Yeah, this is the program. Now tell me if you have any doubt in this program, tell me. Yes, participants, just kindly respond. If you have no doubt, just type no doubts. Yes, Sharan Rao says NAS are the local variables. Can we declare them globally so that they can be accessible throughout the program? Yes, you can declare as a globally also. Okay, so if you are declaring this NAS is globally, then you can access it. You can access it directly. Just like for example, N is equal to Ganesh. Okay, A is equal to suppose 36 and S is equal to suppose 50,000, and now no need to pass it here. No need to pass. Okay, and here also no need to give. You can directly use that. So when I run this program, you're having the same output. Yeah, got it, Sharan Rao? But actually, why you are declaring it is as a global variable? Okay, better to use as a local variable of that particular function. So whenever actually you need you are passing this argument, that is been reflected here. Suppose now set data, even that set data you have set it as a Ganesh 36 and 50,000. Now you want to change it. You want to change its salary. If you want to modify the object, you can modify through the set data function. For example, you want to modify as a 1 lakh, 1 lakh, and here I'm calling the even dot display function. I'm calling the display function. So you can see here. So firstly, here also I'm calling the display function even dot display, and when I run this program, you can see here. Firstly, your object is having the salary is 50,000. Now salary is having the 1 lakh. So it means that if you are declaring it's a global variable, actually it is not related to the object, it is globally. We want to create a data which is related to the object only. Okay, getting Sharan Rao? Ashwita says, sir, why even can't we print salary directly? No, we can't print salary directly. Very good question, Ashwita. Print salary. Okay, you can see here there is a error. Okay, red line is there. When you run this program, you will get a salary is not defined. Why salary is not defined? Because salary is defined into the class. So if salary is defined with the class, it means that salary is inside that object. If it is inside that object, how you can directly access it? It is not a global or it's local variable. So that's why if you want to access the salary, where is salary? Salary is present in E1. Salary is present in E1. So that's why you are directly using the E1 dot salary. Getting this? Okay. So any small doubts, actually any small doubts, you can ask it here. Okay, so whatever the name that you have defined here, that has to be reflected at all time. Suppose you have defined your salary as a underscore salary, then it means that here, it means that everywhere you have to use the underscore salary. Getting this? If you are using this underscore salary, then it is underscore salary. Because you know the variable declaration. Yes. So when I use the single underscore, when I use single underscore, and if I run the program, my program runs fine. It prints my 50,000. Okay. But when I use double underscore, just look at here. When I use double underscore, what happened? All salary I have replaced as a underscore salary, and I run this program again. Now it gives the error. It gives error, attribute error. So can anybody tell me why this is error? Why this error? I have used the same. I have used the same name that I have declared to the as an attribute to my object. So can anyone tell me what is my mistake here, or what is it? Why I'm not unable to access the underscore salary? Yeah, anyone? Anyone has studied before this? In Python, actually, in Python, underscore, if you are applying the two underscore before any variable, or any attribute, then that attributes become the private attribute of that class. It become a private attribute. It means that it is only accessible within the class. It is only accessible within the class. If I comment this line, your program runs fine. The program is perfectly running fine. Okay, because here also you are using underscore salary, and here also you are using under. So within the program you are accessing that program, you are accessing the salary, but outside the program, if you are trying to access it, then it will give the error. Getting this? Are you getting the private members? What is private member? It is private to the class. Outside the class, that member is not accessible. If the member is not accessible, then that member is it is only used for the class. Within the class it is only used. Outside the class it is having no use. Getting this? And if you are using a single underscore, it is a private member. But in Python it is also private member. But in Python, actually, if the member is a private only private, it is not strictly private, it is private member, then it is advising that this is a private member and you should not call this member using the object. But it is only the suggestion given, that is, you should not call this private member using the object, but you can call it. But you should not call. So it is just advice given. But if you want to give that strictly private, then use the double underscore in front of that attribute. Then that member become a only private member to that particular class. Getting the difference between underscore, single underscore and double underscore? Yes. Okay. So now next one is, now this is my class I have written. I have created the object. Can I create the second object? Can I create second object? Event dot display here I'm calling. Now I want to create a second object. So how to create a second object? Very simple. E2 is equal to again employee. Okay. So you can create the number of objects. So how many objects you are creating, that is not having the limitation. Okay. So here I'm running this program. So here you can see the output. In output, so very first object is having the name Ganesh, age 36, salary 50,000. Second object is having the name Nilesh, age 36, 26, salary 1 lakh. Okay, so you can create a number of objects, E1, E2, E3, for any number of objects you can create here. Getting? Yes, getting this? So how to create the number of objects? Yes, use the object name equal to and your class name and the brackets. Okay, so here bracket represent you're calling the default constructor. So now next one is how to write the constructor. How to write the constructor? Okay, so the constructor can be written. Okay, constructor can be written by using underscore underscore init underscore underscore. So this is the method that is being called when the object get created. Init method get called. Init method is called the constructor of your class. Okay, so I'm writing here default constructor. Default constructor. Okay, so when I run this program, so you can see here, when the object get created, it called the init method. It called init because you are calling the default constructor. So init method will be called, and in a init method you have written default constructor. It is get printed. Then you are calling display function. Then again init function, and then again second object is being created. Yes, are you getting this? Now this is the kind of the default constructor. Now next one is the parameterized constructor. So can I write the more than one constructor in Python? In C++ we can write, in Java we can write. We can write the number of constructor in C++ and Python, but in Java your object should have only one constructor. It doesn't support writing the multiple constructor. If you are writing the multiple constructor, then the last constructor that you have written, that is take consideration, that is taking as a consideration. The last constructor is only taking as a constructor, like taking into the consideration. Getting this? So always remember that your Python class is only having only one constructor. Okay, if you are if you want to write the default constructor, then use this method def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and only one self reference has to be passed here. Now you want to write the parameterized constructor. How to write parameterized constructor? Very simple. N comma a comma s. Okay, n comma a comma s. So I'm removing this print statement and I'm using here self dot name is equal to n. Okay, self dot age is equal to a, and then self dot underscore salary is equal to s. Okay, so here when your constructor get called, default constructor, here it is not default constructor, it is a parameterized constructor. To create the object of employee class, you have to pass the three arguments here. Three argument passing is very important. If you are not passing, then the object is not created. You can see here my constructor is taking the three argument, but you are while creating the object you are not passed the any argument. So when you run this program, you get an error. Missing 3 arguments require positional argument A, S, and N, A, and S. Okay, so you're passing this data. At the time of the creation of the object itself. So no need to call the set data function. Now set data function can be called whenever you need to modify that particular object. If you want to modify the object, then use the set data function. Now to initialize the object, use the init method. Getting this? So when I run this program now, your program is perfectly fine. You will get two objects here with the name Ganesh and second name is Nilesh. Yes, getting this? But here, if one of the argument, if I'm not giving, then it give error. Getting? Yes. So this is the parameterized constructor. So can I write the parameterized constructor and default constructor using the same prototype? Definitely use the default argument passing. If you are passing default argument, suppose any not given, age is suppose 0 and salary is also 0, and suppose I'm creating here the E3 object using the default constructor, and I'm printing printing name, age, and the salary of that E3. Okay, so when you create the E1 first, the Ganesh is get passed to N. If it is passed, then NA is not taken. Here A is also passed, S is also passed. Okay, so that Ganesh 36,50,000 is get taken for E1. For E2 it is given, but for E3 any data is not given. So default data is taken, and the default data is NA 0 and 0. So when I run this program, you can see here. What is E1? My E1 is this, E2 is this, and now my E3 is, I have created my E3 with the default constructor. Okay, so here I have written one class which is supporting the default constructor as well as the parameterized constructor. Sorry. Okay, so are you getting this point? Why init? Could you repeat? Okay, why init? Okay, so actually in a C++ and Java, what is a constructor? How we can write the constructor? If it is a class of the Java, then the class of the Java, we can the constructor of the this class. If this is the class of Java, then we can return with the its class name itself. Constructor is having the same name as that of your class name. It is in a C++ and Java, but in a Python, actually, to write the constructor, this function is being used. Okay, there is no such a function called as an employee. Okay, this init function is the first function to be called when the object get created. At the time of the creation of the object, when the object creation is completed, then the initialization it called the init function. Getting this? So that's why the init function plays a role of the constructor in the Python. Getting, Ashwita? So it is not a constructor, but it do the same thing as that of your constructor, what your constructor is doing. What your constructor is doing? The constructor is constructing the object. It means that it is initializing the object. Whatever the data you want to fill after allocating the memory, that you are writing into the constructor. Here the init function is also doing the same. It is automatically called when the when the function when the object get created. Get it? Now next function is the destructor. Actually C++ support destructor, Java doesn't support destructor, but the Python support the destructor. And what is the destructor? The destructor is the function called as a del, okay. So del function. So here I am deleting object. Okay, you can print that object as a self. Okay, so whenever the object get created, init function get called, and when the object get garbage collected, actually we can't delete the object in Python by ourselves. We can't delete that because there is no free method is there. There is no delete method is there. But here, yeah, delete method is there. We can delete the object, but when the object get deleted, it is not deleted. It only the reference get deleted. Okay, so the object is deleted where at the time of deleting the object, that underscore underscore del underscore underscore function is get called. So what this is deleted when the object get deleted means that all the operation that you want to perform before deletion, if you want to perform some operation before deletion of that object, that operation you have to perform in del function. Get it? Suppose you acquired one resource. Suppose you open a file. You open a file in init function. Now, at the time of when you are deleting the object, you want to free that file. You want to release the resource of that resource file. Then the del, in the del function, you are writing that file dot close. Okay, when you are using the file dot close, the resource get deallocated. So okay, so this del function is works as a destructor. It is works as a destructor. It works as a destructor in a Python. Getting this? So when I run this module, you can see here. So here the three init function get called, and when the object get deleted, I have not deleted the object. Okay, object I have not deleted, but when your program get completed, the object is deleted automatically, and the object is get deleted and is get printed whatever you have written here, deleting object, and it is the address of that object. Yes, getting this? So whatever the operation that you want to perform before deletion of the object, you can perform in a del function. Okay, so what we have learned today in today's function, we have learned that in today's session we have learned that how to create a class, how to create an object, how to call the member function of the object, how to call the attribute of the, how to access the attribute of the object, then what is a private member, what is a strictly private member, then after that we have seen the what is a constructor, what is a default constructor, how to write the parameterized constructor, how to convert the parameterized constructor to default constructor, and how to create the destructor. That we have seen today. Getting? So you have to study this by using the w3cschools.org. Just go there, just take the session. Theory is written there. Just read it out, all the theory, and any doubts if you have, just write it down, and we'll solve your doubts in a tomorrow's session. Okay. So any doubt in today's session? Let's have the doubt clearing session, 5 minutes. If you have no doubts, or if you can ask the doubts later also. Actually, delete operation is not taking any argument. Okay, delete operation is only having the single argument called as a self. but the init function can take a multiple argument. Okay, if it is taking multiple argument, it's called a parameterized constructor. Okay, there is no such a thing called as a parameterized destructor. Now you can delete the object by yourself also. So how to delete the object? Delete even. Okay, delete even. So when I run this code, you can see here, firstly the even get created and you have deleted even. Okay, then e2 get created, e3 created, then you created e1, e2, and you created e3. Getting this? So you can manually also create del object, but actually the delete operation is somewhat different. It is not a deallocation of the memory, it is only the deletion of the reference. Okay, so any doubt? If you don't have any doubt, just type no doubts so that we can complete the today's session.